As we all know, Moon Knight is coming to the MCU by way of Disney Plus. It was Kevin Feige who stood on stage at 2019 D23 and announced the show. We know they've been wanting to do something with Moon Knight for quite some time, and there was that curious reference to Cairo by Agent Sitwell back in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and now it's happening, finally. And maybe we'll even get some more this weekend at CCXP. The show will be written and developed by Jeremy Slater, who's the same guy who adapted Umbrella Academy. He was also part of Death Note for Netflix and the Trank Fantastic Four reboot, but blame that last one on the studio execs, not Slater. Well, that part doesn't say much. You can look at the three properties and see his sort of style, if you will, the tone and the flavor that he'll probably bring to Moon Knight as well. And on top of that, the Russo brothers, in speaking with a website called Inverse recently, stated interest in directing the series. As far as a release date, we don't have that yet, but again, that might come with CCXP this weekend, but realistically, the show probably won't come until 2022 at the earliest. Moon Knight is Marc Spector, and Marc Spector used to be a Marine in the United States Marine Corps. He then worked for the CIA, became a mercenary and a soldier of fortune, and once he was out on a mission in Egypt where his employer betrayed him, and it was Raoul Bushman who left him to die out in the desert near Cairo. There were some Egyptians in the desert who found him and took him into their temple, and the moon god Khonshu revived Marc, and then he became Moon Knight. Or did he? See, Marc has multiple personality disorder, what's now known as dissociative identity disorder. So one thing that this show will surely do is bring mental health and mental illness to the forefront of the conversation, which is great. It needs to be talked about more, and more need to understand it. Marc is also, through his personalities, a cabbie named Jake Lockley and a playboy socialite named Stephen Grant. With each identity, he's still Moon Knight. Jake has his ear to the ground for trouble, and his other personality, Grant, keeps him funded and well-connected. And at first, these are actually just cover identities, sort of like James Bond, but in 1988, with West Coast Avengers 29, Moon Knight started hearing voices from his other personalities, and it progressed all the way up till Jeff Lemire's comic book run in 2016, where Marc woke up in a psychiatric hospital, and he had allegedly imagined it all, which was a really fascinating take on the character. And we don't know who's going to be playing Moon Knight right now, but I could see Split's James McAvoy playing the role, and even Keanu Reeves. However, I'd prefer him as the more stoic Silver Surfer. Feige and Camp, they talk to Keanu all the time, and they want him. And TiVo from Lords of the Long Box YouTube channel says that if Keanu wants the part of Spector, then it's his. Anyway, Marc came back to the United States and used his fortune to amass an armory full of weapons and equipment. And he was hired at one point to bring down Jack Russell, the protagonist with the name Werewolf by Night. And in fact, it was a Werewolf by Night comic book in 1975, the 32nd issue to be precise, where Moon Knight debuted. If this does in fact come to fruition in terms of the story they're going to use, then the ties to the mystic, horrific, and monsterific side of the Marvel Universe means he could tie to Blade, the movie, Man-Thing, teams like Legion of Monsters, Midnight Suns, even Secret Avengers if they went that route. And also, there are a couple people that will most likely show up on the show. Marc obviously is one. In terms of supporting cast, this is important. After Marc left the CIA, he met up with a guy named Jean-Paul Duchamp with the nickname Frenchie. He basically became Moon Knight's man of the chair, or his oracle, after Moon Knight's brother paralyzed him. And it was these two who took on the assignment to take down Bushman. Since this will surely be an origin tale for Moon Knight, not many people know about him, it's an introduction to him for the general audience, these two supporting characters will surely show up. And this was also reported on by a scooper who goes by the name Daniel Rickman. And if another unnamed scooper is to be believed, Werewolf by Night will show up as well. And TiVo from Lords of the Long Box has also said that Stained Glass Scarlet will appear on the show. Scarlet's a mercenary from Brooklyn that hunts criminals with a crossbow, and it's actually later revealed that she has a psychic link to Moon Knight. So let's pause here. Where do Bushman, Stained Glass Scarlet, and Werewolf by Night show up? Let's assume all of the scoops are true. They could go a completely different route and do a brand new story a la the Deadpool movies, or they could draw from comic book source material. So the answer is a mini-series from 1998 called Moon Knight: The Resurrection War. It's a pretty cool story, actually, where Khonshu resurrects Moon Knight, and Khonshu's nemesis is another Egyptian god named Set, is using a character named Morpheus to do his evil bidding. Imagine Keanu Reeves as Moon Knight in this Morpheus character. So Set has Morpheus doing his evil bidding, and Morpheus is the one who recruits all of Marc's foes. All the ones I mentioned. Bushman, Stained Glass Scarlet, Werewolf by Night, they all show up. It's a pretty cool story. It dives into his story, his origin, his resurrection, his mental health, and it ties in all the scoops we've heard thus far. And it'd be like he has to take down a new foe each episode maybe until he reaches like the boss level at the end. And then maybe he wakes up in Ravencross Institute for the criminally insane, and we're left to wonder if it was all true or all in his head. And his writer Jeremy Slater said shortly after the show was revealed, "Stick around and stay tuned, Moon Knight is on the way, and it's gonna be one hell of a ride." So anyway, now it's your turn. Who do you think will play the protagonist to Moon Knight, and who do you think should play Moon Knight himself on the series? Go ahead and leave me those thoughts and comments in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy videos like this, because we upload content just like it each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.